over $400,000 invested, right? And that will accumulate to a ridiculous amount when we want to retire. And it gives us the flexibility to retire earlier, or the flexibility to leave a job that we possibly don't like. One of the most important decisions that you can make in your life is who you choose as your life partner. If you don't choose the right partner, you are in it for an uphill battle. America has a 50% divorce rate. One of the top reasons that people divorce is because financial incompatibility. If you do not agree on how you guys spend your money, what your goals are, what you guys want to do with the money that is left over, then you guys have a higher chance for divorce. It is insane to me nowadays how people in relationships can talk about almost anything under the sun, their weirdest and freakiest taboo fetishes. But when it comes to finance, it just becomes completely taboo. It becomes her money, my money, not our money.
You understand? Mine! All mine! Get back in there!
One of the first things my fiance and I talked about when we started going on dates was our relationship with money, how we spend money, how we save it, if we have any loans. Doing so has helped us accumulate $400,000 in our early 30s.
Damn!
And this will compound drastically over our lifetime and set us up for riches beyond anything we probably could have imagined. When I first started going on dates and had a goal in mind of finding a long-term partner, what I was looking for was someone who knew how to handle their money, how to budget, how to basically be an adult. And I made sure that when I went on dates, there were little probing questions that I would ask. If you want to understand what you need to do in order to make sure that you find a financially compatible partner, then make sure you stick around in this video so that way you can accumulate almost $400,000 in your early 30s. As you go on these dates, there needs to be a willingness to bring up money earlier on than most people do. I see couples getting married and still having no financial sense and no financial conversations with each other. They have no idea what the other person makes. They have no idea if there are any student loans or any car loans or any other debt.
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
So when they move in together, it's a surprise that they have different spending habits when it shouldn't be. If you are serious about finding a financially compatible partner, there needs to be a willingness to bring up money earlier on in dates. Now, I'm not saying on the first date you need to talk about money and student loans, but you can ask probing questions like, hey, how long have you been at your job? What do you enjoy doing with your money? Do you like spending it on cars and restaurants, traveling? Now, it won't tell you exactly what debts they have, but you can see if you're compatible and how you guys spend money, because that is important. Within the first couple months of dating my fiance, I had an idea of what student loans she had, what her history with money was, how she grew up and how her parents spend money, and I was able to share that with her. Now, I didn't give her my financial picture down to the penny, but I knew like, oh, she's paying her student loans. She's made on-time payments since she got out of college. Oh, she doesn't have a car loan. She's been driving the same car for the last 8 years. That means she's not really looking to have a car loan anytime soon. Oh, she's living at home. She's enjoying saving money, and sounds like she has a high cash savings. These are all things that I took into consideration before we became official. And as our relationship grew and we moved in together, we discussed everything. Before my fiance and I moved in together, we had a heart-to-heart on how we were going to divide the finances, right? One of the most important things is, okay, if we move in together, who's handling this bill? Who's handling that bill? What are we doing about this joint bill? Like, do we want to furnish the apartment? Okay, how are we doing this? Are we doing half and half? Is someone contributing more because we want to buy a more expensive piece of furniture? These are all topics that need to be talked about in order to make sure that you guys are on the same page. And of course, there's going to be some give and go, but just having that discussion is a very crucial first step. So prior to moving in together, we discussed how we were going to split up the rent. Now, this is an example I'm going to give, and it's what we eventually ended up doing. So we took a proportional look at our incomes, and then that's how we divided all the bills in the house. So for example, let's say I made $75,000 and she made $25,000. That means I made 3 times her income. So what we did is we added 75,000 plus the 25,000, which comes out to 100,000. Then 75,000 divided by the 100,000, that means I cover 75% of the rent. Then she covers 25%. And then we took that to the internet, to the gas bills, water bills. And then when we decided that we wanted to buy furniture, then there was a little more discussion and more nuance. I'm okay with not buying the most expensive furniture or something that's not as expensive. But if she wants something that's maybe a little higher end price, then maybe those percentages could be dialed down a little bit. Maybe I cover 60 and she covers 40%. Then this is something that's constantly being worked on. Okay, this is not something that you're gonna have a one and done talk, and you want to have these constant conversations. Making sure that you guys are financially well off together will set you far above everybody else. This year, we've been to so many weddings, so many people are getting married. We're getting married by the end of the year. And one of the things that constantly surprises us is how little conversations people have had about what they're doing with money. They have no idea what their partner spends their money on. They have no idea how much there's in savings. Really, the wedding is their first big couple tackling of finances, right? Like coming together and understanding how much they're going to spend on the wedding, how much every little thing costs, how much everybody's contributing to that. As opposed to before, maybe they were just winging it, just putting money into an account, and then just little arguments would spark from that. Oh, you should pay more for this, or maybe you should pay more for that. But when there's transparency and everyone knows where they are, this is where you eliminate those hard conversations or eliminate those arguments that you don't want to have, and there's clarity. Once my fiance and I moved in together, we made sure to have talks about like, what do you value spending your money on? And then I contributed my side. For example, I do not care about clothes or the highest end jewelry or technology. I could wait 5, 7 years to get another phone. I don't care about that stuff. What I do care about is traveling and trying new high-end restaurants and just having experiences together. Luckily for me, and this is something I found earlier on just by looking at how she spends her money, but she also valued the same thing. She loves traveling. We love going to try new foodie places and experiencing that together. But this is something that you want to discuss with your fiance and make sure that you guys are on the same page. Maybe he or she loves spending money on the newest car. Maybe they love spending on the newest dress or shoes, or your husband, maybe he loves going to Vegas once a year or twice a year with his buddies and do group trips. These are all conversations that you guys need to have in order to make sure that there's no surprises down the road. Now, another conversation that you guys want to get into is any debt that you guys are bringing into the relationships. Eventually, when you guys get married, you guys will assume each other's debt, right? So if the other person has a lot of loans, a lot of student loans, a lot of medical loans, a lot of just credit card debt, that's very common nowadays in America. You want to be transparent with each other and just talk about it and then come up with a game plan and how to achieve it. For example, when me and my fiance got together, I think she had about $50,000 in student loans, right? So I made it clear like, hey, I can cover more of the bills, but what I want you to do is make sure that you handle the student debt, right? And then we've been together for approximately 5 years and she's paid it all off, right? We're going to get married and she has no student debt. I have no student debt. And these are things that we just tackle together as a couple. And we have a strong financial groundwork that we've set together. And that's why now we're able to have over $400,000 invested, right? And that will accumulate to a ridiculous amount when we want to retire. And it gives us the flexibility to retire earlier or the flexibility to leave a job that we possibly don't like. But all these goals were hit because we discussed everything. We were on the same page. We made sure our retirement accounts are maxed out or that we're even contributing and getting the employer match. But you're not going to be able to achieve these goals if you don't have the discussions. Another thing that my partner and I have done as we are getting closer to getting married is combine our finances. Now it's not just 50-50 anymore. We've opened up a bank account together and we're all pooling our money into there. And that way we can just start withdrawing, right? If she has a car payment, it's going to be drawn from the combined account. I have a car payment, it goes from the combined account. Mortgage, same thing. These are things that we want to discuss. Now, another thing that people have mentioned is that I want my money. The money I work for, it's mine, it's not hers, and I want to spend it however I want to spend it as long as the bills are covered. And I can understand that, but regardless, when you guys get divorced, if that were to happen, it'll still be her money. Regardless of what you think, a judge will see it as your money because you guys are married. So what we did is we just combined it all. And at the start of every month, we've decided that we're going to transfer allocation of money from the combined to our separate bank accounts that we can spend on however we want. As of right now, we've thrown a couple numbers out, but we haven't really come to a concrete number, and we can go higher or lower. But even if we start off each month with transferring $100 to each bank accounts, we have no say on how that money could be spent, right? I could save up that $100 for a year and spend it on a new computer or something that I value, and she could spend it on whatever she feels like. Meanwhile, the other money in the account gets spent on things within the household, right? Whether it's saving for a new house or paying down the wedding or maybe another vacation. All these come out of the combined account, and we're going to put it into different savings account. Having these discussions and asking each other these questions can set you further apart than the average person. It'll make you understand what each person wants out of life, and that way you can achieve those goals if you guys tackle it together. I hope this information was useful for you guys. Make sure to subscribe, and that way you can get more information. Next video, I'm going to show you guys how that $400,000 is split up.